In this video, I'm going to show you how to work with angular constraints. At times, this might be a bit baffling and confusing, but stick with it. It's worth it, I promise you. Before we get started, it's really important that you know how to use AutoCAD to a pretty reasonable level. You can work with blocks. It really helps that you're familiar with dimensions. And I highly recommend seeing at least the first video where we cover the difference between linear and angular dimensional constraints. In this video, we're going to go through how to constrain lines that meet at different angles using the angular dimensional constraint. I'm going to introduce you to the parameters manager. I'm going to show you how to hide a constraint from the final block. We're going to use the coincidence and equals constraints. To start with, use this reference drawing, which is a closed polyline of a six-sided star. Remember, it's super important to think about where you want to put your fixed constraint. What do we always start with? The fixed constraint. That's because we are going to be pulling geometry and pushing geometry from a single point, a single source of truth. And we need to think about where that's going to be. For this drawing, it's going to be the bottom. It doesn't have to be the 0, 0 point of the block, but it helps if it is. Trust me. I'm then going to apply an equals constraint to the bottom two sizes. And then another one to all the other sides. As in video 2, I like to work from one starting point and reference all the other ones from that one point. It helps with debugging later. It's exactly as you would dimensioning. You only need to dimension one, all the others will copy. You can then use that as a single source of truth. Now, just pause if you need to and check you're working out. You can see if I grab a grip point, all of the lines remain as such. I'm then going to draw a line, and it can go absolutely anywhere you want. And then we're going to work with the coincidence constraint. Now, a coincidence constraint ensures that 2 points always touch. If I move one, the other one drags along. Think of it like a magnet. It can stretch the other part. Now, it's very important because you need to think about what you click first. If there's a fixed constraint, it doesn't matter. But if I click that and then that, you'll see that, oh dear. Oh no, and then I try and fix it, and it's just, we're going to have to undo and start again. This time, I'm going to do a coincidence constraint. I'm going to click the top and then the bottom. The line is going to go up. So the first thing that you click, that's where it's going. Now, why did we add this line, you ask? That's because it helps maintain this vertical position. It's a bit of a hack. There are better ways of doing this, but for the purpose of this learning exercise, it really helps you visualize what's going on. We're going to apply a horizontal constraint as we did in the first lesson, and that will keep this line in the middle. Now we're going to add an angular constraint. I'm going to start by doing all of the larger bits, the outside part of the star. And then I'm going to do the inside parts. Next, we'll open up the parameters manager. What you can see here is a list of all of the parameters that we have in the drawing. Because we created them in order, we know that the first 4 that we created refer to the outside ones, and the next lot apply to the inside ones. It may look a bit baffling, don't panic. Now we can manually set the value of each of these, or we can apply a formula. For now, let's just manually set the value. We're going to change the value of the first 4 to 85. And the value of the remaining ones to 30. Now this looks a bit crazy. What we can do is we can grab the grip point and reposition if we want to. But if you're going to be working with constraints, you do need to get used to it being a bit messy. Now for this, we don't want people to change this afterwards. So I'm going to select one of them and then use the select similar command to select the rest. Open up the properties panel, and where it says show in properties and number of grips, I'm going to change it to 0 and no. That means that people will be unable to change that. I'm also just going to hide them so we can continue working. I'm going to add an align dimensional constraint to the bottom and another one to this one side, the one that we used as a reference previously. Now remember, because we applied an equals constraint to that side, we only need to apply one dimensional constraint to that side and it will change all the other ones to match. Now let's save the changes and open in model space. You can see that we can easily change both the height of the bottom bit and the sides. If this was a bit confusing, I suggest that you watch it again or have a practice yourself. Just start with 2 or 3 lines, start with a triangle or 5 or 6-sided shapes and see if you can get it to work. Experiment with different angles and experiment with the equals parameter before you move on to the next lesson. Good luck. If you're enjoying these lessons as much as I'm enjoying making them, please check the link in the description. In addition to the free lessons that are available online, I also have a number of resources available for download, including written instructions, formulas, advanced techniques and tips, and DWG files to download. By supporting me, you're supporting learners all over the world from different backgrounds, different educations, and different starting points. Thank you so much for your continued support, and I'll see you in the next video.